Hey, when you hear the word feedback, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's that red pen, right? The grade at the top of the page. But what if feedback wasn't a final verdict? What if it was actually a conversation designed to make us better? Well, today we're going to explore how to build a really powerful learning loop just by understanding the two sides of feedback.
Yeah, this question, it probably brings back a little bit of that stomach-clenching anxiety, right? Waiting for that final judgment. But here's the thing. When feedback is only about the final grade, we miss out on its most powerful function, the ability to guide real, actual improvement while it's still happening. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by breaking down what feedback is really for. Then we'll look at the two main types and dig into the evidence for what actually works. After that, we'll see how these two types can work together, and we'll wrap it all up with some practical, hands-on strategies you can use. Okay, let's dive right in. To really get this, you have to understand that feedback isn't just one thing. It's more like a toolkit. And inside, you've got two totally different tools for two totally different jobs. So let's look at the two paths that feedback can take. First up is formative feedback. Think of this as a coach yelling advice from the sidelines during the game, not in the locker room after it's all over. Its entire purpose is to help you learn, not just to grade you. It's a conversation, an ongoing dialogue. It helps students develop what researchers call metacognitive awareness, which is just a fancy way of saying the superpower of thinking about your own thinking. And on the other side of the coin, you've got summative feedback. Now, this is the one we all know. It's the final exam score, the grade on the big project, the diploma. It's a summary of what you achieved at the very end. And while it's absolutely essential for measuring what someone's learned, it can also be pretty stressful because by the time you get it, the chance to improve that piece of work is long gone. This table just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? Just look at those top two rows, timing and purpose. Formative happens during learning, and its goal is to improve. Summative happens at the end, and its goal is to measure. That one single distinction changes literally everything about how the feedback is given and how it feels to receive it. So we have these two different approaches, right? But does it really matter which one we use or how much? Well, the research on this is loud and clear. Yes, it matters a lot. So let's get into the evidence and see the real-world impact these different kinds of feedback have. And this right here is the core idea. Simply giving more feedback isn't the solution. The kind of feedback we give, and just as importantly, how we give it, can be the difference between a student feeling empowered and a student feeling totally defeated. So what's the secret sauce? Well, here's a huge clue. Truly great feedback isn't about telling a student you're right or you're wrong. According to groundbreaking research from Hattie and Timperley, it's about giving them the tools to figure it out for themselves. It's about building their ability to self-regulate, to become the captain of their own learning journey. And if you want to see the power we're talking about, just look at this number. In his massive study called Visible Learning, researcher John Hattie found that good feedback has an effect size of 0.73 on student achievement. Now, to put that in perspective, anything over 0.40 is considered a big deal. This number is huge. It means feedback is more impactful than reducing class sizes or even the amount of homework. It's one of the most powerful tools we have, period. But again, the type of feedback is everything. Research shows that a steady diet of that formative, in-the-moment feedback, it builds students up, it boosts their confidence, and makes them more resilient. But summative feedback on its own, it can seriously crank up anxiety and make students focus only on cramming for the test. So what's the sweet spot? A smart mix. Frequent, low-stakes activities that keep students learning and engaged. Okay, and this brings us to a really big aha moment. It's so easy to see these two types of feedback as enemies, you know? The helpful coach versus the final judge. But the truth is, the most effective learning models don't make you choose. They make them partners. So here's the myth. It's formative versus summative, an either-or choice. But the reality, it's formative and summative. It's not a competition at all. It's a powerful partnership that creates one single cohesive learning journey, where one type of feedback perfectly sets you up for success with the other. And look, this isn't just some nice theory. A 2023 study showed exactly how this works. Researchers gave students a realistic task. Then they gave them tailored formative feedback along the way. And the result? The vast majority of students were able to level up their thinking to much more complex reasoning. That formative feedback basically acted as a bridge that helped them walk right over to summative success. So knowing all this, how do we actually put it into practice?
How can educators take these ideas and build a better feedback loop in a real classroom? Let's get into a practical toolkit.
I really love this image because it captures the whole goal perfectly. It's not about just piling more rocks on one side, it's about finding that balance between formative and summative strategies. That balance is what creates a stable, sturdy foundation where students can actually grow and really show what they know. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it's stuff like using super clear rubrics so students know what success looks like from day one. It's using quick exit tickets at the end of class to get a real-time pulse on what actually landed. And, so importantly, it's empowering students through things like peer review and self-assessment, turning them from just passive receivers of grades into active players in their own learning. When you boil it all down, it all comes back to this one simple idea. Whether it's a quick comment in the middle of a class or a final grade on a paper, the ultimate goal should always be the same. Every single piece of feedback, formative and summative, should be aligned with the single powerful purpose of promoting growth.
And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. In our own lives, whether we're teachers or parents or just lifelong learners ourselves, how can we start to rethink feedback? How can we shift our whole mindset so that every evaluation, every grade, every final judgment becomes not an endpoint, but just another stepping stone on the path to getting better?